Okay, we're not going to finish it today, but today we're going to get the intake hopefully removed from the engine and get everything set up so that we can remove the intake and maybe clean everything up so that tomorrow when the new intake gaskets are here we can reseal it, put it back down, and fix our oil leak. So here's some steps of what we're going to do. We're going to pull the radiator cap. We're going to drain the radiator. That's going to drain hopefully most, if not all, of the coolant out of the engine. That way when we pull the intake we don't drop a bunch of coolant down into the engine where the oil is supposed to be, because that's no bueno. Then we're going to disconnect the fuel lines, a vacuum line, and the other electrical connectors from the intake. Then we're going to turn the engine over until the rotor in the distributor is pointing at cylinder number 1. That way we know which way to reinstall the distributor. Then we're going to pull the distributor, and then we're going to unbolt all the rest of the stuff and pull the intake. Probably at some point there we're going to blow off all the stuff that's on top of the intake to keep it from getting in the engine. So there's the game plan. Here's some time lapse. Okay, mid-repair update. I'll show you that in a minute. It hurts to climb in there. We got the intake off. These gaskets are honestly probably reusable. When I installed them, I greased them on one side and glued them to the heads on the other side. So they came off, stuck to the head. So I could probably reuse them. I already have another set on the way. They're like $11. There's no reason to reuse them. I may throw them in the back of the toolbox just in case, and just hold on to them as like a spare. But I'll show you where I think our problem is. If you can see here, I guess I don't know, it's really hard to say exactly why it's leaking here, but you can see where the RTV stuck to the aluminum here and where it stopped right there. There's a nice gap right there, and then it's fine here and fine here and fine here. So I don't really know exactly where it's leaking, but it's just not sticking evenly to all of this, and a bunch of this came off with the intake, which normally means that it's not sealed to the block very well. So I'll show you on the block side. Okay, you can see right here, right around where this oil pressure switch is, it's kind of covered in coolant, so you can't really see that much, but it just doesn't look great. So all this stuff back here is oil soaked. I mean, I don't know how I messed it up, but I did. So we're gonna do better this time. And yeah, so we're gonna clean it now with some wire brushes, and I got a scraper to try to get the most of the silicone off. Then we're gonna cover it up, and tomorrow when the gaskets get here, we're going to regasket. And then we're gonna have to change the oil. So I tried to drain all the coolant out I could. I mean, there's obviously some that still fell down in there. So we may just fire it up just to make sure the leak is fixed. But then before we actually drive it anywhere, we're definitely gonna change the oil. Just make sure there's no water mixed in with the oil, because that does bad things. So here's some more cleaning time lapse. Okay, here he is. I'm pretty much done for the day. I'm still gonna clean all this stuff off in the morning. And there's actually a lot of stuff. I put a towel over it so you really can't see it right now, but I'll show you anyway. There's a bunch of stuff on the I can show you on this other set of heads I have over here. On this mating surface here, there's a bunch of old gasket. So we will get the air tools out tomorrow. It's not quite as late. I use this bad boy here and this nylon wheel, and there's no way that's going to scratch the cast iron heads. So we'll also probably use that on this aluminum intake, and as long as we're careful with it and not go crazy, it'll do a pretty good job cleaning it up. So that's all for today. We will see you mañana.